the very next pick after the second ban phase.
I mean, you got Earthshaker there, which is one of the best steals in the game. Maybe it makes Newbie think twice about going back for the clock once more and secures the clock possibly on the side of VG Gaming. I do like the Newbie. They open up with what could be a couple of supports. You know, we don't know exactly where this Lina could end up, but they're obviously not giving any information away at all. No early cores.
Yeah.
That are like cut and dry.
It's a much better opener from Vici. It's double wave clear. Like, they have huge AoE nukes in case they try and group up and team fight, and overall it's just very solid. Like, the Rubik null field, really good versus Earthshaker and Lina. As you said, there's plenty of good spells to steal, and as we've seen, Newbie's been keen on FY's Rubik, and they banned it out pretty late last game, and Vici just no chance of that not being in the pool.
Yeah. There was definitely contention over a different part of the hero pool in Game 1. No?
Vigilant about the Brood ban. Just don't want to give up a free game, especially versus Ice. I think Brood could just like completely ruin their game plan, and it's nice to see that they're consistently banning it out in the second phase.
Clock could also ruin their plan, you know. Clock is good against what they have right now. And a lot of synergy with Queen of Pain, and you can set up kills for the Queen very easily. Maybe if the game goes well, the Queen of Pain can choose to go for Aghanims, early Aghanims. It works really well with the clock, since clock's ultimate is 60 seconds. When you get the Aghanims, you would technically every time you try to hook someone, you would have Sonic Wave.
Right.
So that could come into play.
It's interesting because every time we see these picks, especially obviously like the Shaper Lina, we'll talk about the clock being a good pick on the other side, but then I feel like we haven't seen it banned enough to determine exactly where it lies in priority. Where do you guys see that? I mean, sure, it's good enough against your lineup, but is it not strong enough to simply ban it? Or is that just a team preference of, hey, let's just ban the clock out and see what else they pick, or just leave it open, we can deal with it, because we've seen it so often?
I mean, there are some lanes that are really good versus Clockwork. I feel like it's how much you think his hookshot will actually impact. Like we said one time, it was a really bad pick. He actually said it were like, you know, Spirit Breaker plus Undying plus a few others that you can't actually kill really quickly. He doesn't do terribly well in long sustained fights. Ideally, like hookshot, you get a huge amount of like 1 or 2 heroes in there, you kill them immediately, or you disrupt the fight. I think it's a really nice combo breaker, but it's also very vulnerable to like a Rubik Gyro lane, and there are some weaknesses to the hero, but versus Queen, versus Rubik, versus Tusk, I don't think it's that great. But it'd be really good as on VG's lineup versus
Right.
Yeah, if it wasn't going to be the clock, I guess Tusk has been the next top pick for Ice. But if I do recall, I was looking over the stats for him on his performance in Tusk, and it's been a bit abysmal. I believe yesterday, by the end of the day, he was like 1-4 on the hero. For a lot of teams, their Tusk has been kind of falling off a bit. For others, it works well, but Ice really hasn't been getting a lot of wins with Tusk. Might not be on him. I didn't catch all the games, but it seems to be a trend. And will Newbie get the Dragon Knight, which we saw did some serious work in the last game.
And the Tusk is something we discussed earlier in the week here, where we said, yeah, it's definitely a high priority, but not as much. It's not as flexible or just not as secure in giving you that win compared to some of the other high priorities that we've seen, like Gyro, of course, or even the Quap. And I believe, even after day 2, I think Tusk was at just dead even 50% win rate with the number of times it's been picked so far. So it seems like teams are still a little bit split on exactly how important it is to secure that Tusk. Darkseer gets through and gets picked up for Newbie.
Yeah, it's a very good combination with the Dragon Knight. Teams have been using it in the old patches a lot. You have a hero that builds the mech for the team. Iron Shell works very well on Dragon Knight. Basically, you're built around taking towers and taking fights early. So Newbie is again once more going back to what they did in the first game. A very team fight early orientated lineup. They want to take your towers. So I think the Earthshaker and Lina, it's more or less safe to say they're both going to be the supports of the game, since they revealed the Darkseer right now. So I expect the last pick to be maybe another core for Newbie.
Viper.
Yeah, pushing core. Another pushing core would be really nice for them. Viper
would be nice against Queen.
Yeah, Viper's good against Queen, and definitely synergizes very well with the lineup they have.
I was actually somewhat expecting Vici to ban out the DK, and Winter and I were talking about it, and it's the matchup last game was a Storm Spirit. I think Queen of Pain is a much better for Dragon matchup for Queen of Pain against the Dragon Knight, as well as like Shadow Fiend. And this time they might be able to limit his BKB timing. If he doesn't have BKB, he can be bursted down, not terribly easily, but you can actually engage on him as opposed to when he has a BKB. So I think that controlling the Dragon Knight and controlling his flow of the game is going to be really instrumental to defending their towers. It all starts in the laning phase.
Yeah, it's Quap and Spirit Breaker, so I think if Dragon Knight were to go mid again, he would have a lot of pressure from Vici. And okay, it's going to be Ember last pick. Oh, the Zeus was quick.
Some global flare there. Zeus and Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, a lot of global flare, definitely. The support is actually the Spirit Breaker.
Okay.
You can see ISSI picks up the Tusk.
Right.
Has Zeus got a win yet this tournament? Yesterday he was 0-5. So
I'm not sure.
A lot of teams who were even able to pull together the infamous Zeus Bloodseeker still couldn't pull it off. It just didn't seem to work out.
In
for
this
them.
game, the role is a little bit reversed in terms of having a late game. Like Vici, they went all in on like early game and team fights with Queen of Pain and Tusk and Zeus as their cores. Like no like BKB. Like I mean, Queen of Pain is like decent, but no true like physical damage carries. So they committed very heavily.
Yeah,
to
this
that.
is very heavy commitment from them. I agree.
But for Vici, let's say they get the lead early and they just keep getting those kills. How
Are they
how
gonna
does
take
it look?
towers?
Like,
How
how
are
do
they
they
gonna
close
take
it out?
towers? Yeah.
Right? Like, how are they going to take towers? How are they going to siege the high ground?
I think it's more they expect newbie to come into them, and it's more to prevent their own towers being taken. I think after they do that, they'll worry about concentrating on taking towers. I think they want to defend their towers first before moving on to the next phase.
All right. Could be a good plan. We're about to find out. Newbie versus Vici Gaming, Game 2 with Newbie leading 1-0.
Without seeing each other? That's the question. And the answer is no. They both see each other. It's like, ISSI was down there.
Oh, what did you do?
And Banana was up there. Like,
They're both
there's the
off each
sentry
other.
ward, and they counter.
The good thing for Banana is he was still carrying an Observer Ward in his package. So maybe ISSI doesn't know.
Ice, careful. Like, if Searing Chains and Dragon Tail Stun's also available, they can hold him here for a while
He's
and
too
let
slow.
Moo get in front if possible. Yeah, that DK, like, you're meant to be a knight. Like,
Dude,
do
he's
more.
in full armor.
Do some.
What do you want from him?
More laps on the track, man. More laps on the track. All right, welcome everyone as well for the main live stream. We went a little bit off topic in our broadcast, but I'm Toby White. I'm joined by Waga for our last cast of the group stages here because there's more great action coming up later on the main stream. The big game EG versus CDAC, which will decide a hell of a lot about the top part of Group B. But we're here in VG versus Newbie, with Newbie already taking game number 1. VG Gaming really require at least 1 point to keep themselves out of the bottom half, and Newbie, if they can get a 2-0, they'll push themselves up into the top 4. Then we'll find out during the rest of the day if they will stay there.
Yeah, and keep your eyes on, if you just tuned in for the second game, keep your eyes on Rabbit as he played Dragon Knight in the first game and had such a dominating performance on it.
That early blink was superb.
Yeah, BKB into Blink Dagger and then just acting as an initiator for his team. And who wants to turn and kill the Dragon Knight? When he initiates, you can't really punish him. Normally it's like, oh, clock hooked in, let's kill him.
I love Ice with this block.
Yep.
We saw PPD manipulating the ice shards the other day, but technically you can hold it back, like you can hold the entire creep wave. You can't do this with a clockwork, but with the ice shards, they cover enough area. If you get the timing right, you keep the whole thing back. So Ice gets level 2 practically from the start.
Yep. Very sweet.
Meanwhile on top, okay, that's really low. June on the run. FY picks him up, dragging him back. VG Gaming, that's the start they were searching for. How was dropping so low? That was a double Iron Shell attack into the Queen of Pain.
Yep, and now he has that first blood on Queen of Pain safe lane, and Queen against Darkseer is a very solid laner as well, so if she gets a good start like this, she might just take over.
The charge is coming down. Banana can't Light Strike Array on this one. Moo, Searing Chains, however, stops Fenrir's charge in. They go for the Light Strike Array now on Spirit Breaker. Luckily for him, he is one tanky cow.
Yeah, and Shaker is here as well, so... Oh, Ice wasting some mana there, but Shaker's here as well, so might be dangerous if VG keep pursuing kills here.
Want to keep my eyes closer on mid too. No Super's build. He went for a 2-0-1 build over on the Zeus. He was dropping Rabbit down very, very low. This just turned into a spray lane.
Yeah, this is very standard actually on Zeus, like getting an extra point into Arc Lightning, because it's much easier to CS that way. You're going to kill the range creep with 3 Arc Lightnings.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned previously the fact that Sentry Ward, the Observer Ward, was still on the Lena when she walked away. The Observer Ward in the lane has never been dewarded.
Yep.
That's why they saw Fenrir coming in early. That's why Sunshine knew when it would be effective to come in close.
The ward game, it plays a big part. Definitely does.
So runes being stolen. It's going to be a Rubik with a haste rune, going for a little bit of a deeper run behind the lines of mid.
Yeah,
he could run in behind Rabbit, but Super needs to get these bottle charges up, and he doesn't have a lightning bolt.
Yeah, he's just waiting, trying.
Well, he does, but not the right lightning bolt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he has the cosmetic lightning bolt. It looks dangerous at least.
He just leveled up level 1 on the lightning bolt now, so he's got that available.
Yeah, DK is actually pinging where FY is sitting, so he knows exactly what's up.
Yep. And FY is just waiting. Like, the haste stream wore off, and he knows he'll leave too, like, because that observer ward is just seeing all.
Yeah, Fen or Banana trying to get some harass bottom lane. They're looking for a chance to kill here, but gonna back off with the Shaker.
Getting the fissure is difficult. Fenrir's positioning is really smart, because he's staying close enough that you're able to see into this little crevice here, just on the side. So Sunshine can't, like, if he's going to move up, he has to move in through the tree line, and that's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. And now Rabbit getting the confirmation as the Rubik has to run back again. Super dealing a lot of damage to Rabbit, but not going to be able to kill here. Just harassing.
Just drop him low. When Thunder Gods rise up a little bit higher, maybe you worry about it. Bottom lane, Moo, double Searing Chain, but then double Snowball save, and he went to the creep wave, not chasing the heroes down. So a smart play by Ice, protecting Fenrir.
Definitely. Don't want to chase after there, as they are just running a duel in against the Trilin, so don't want to go too deep. And,
House getting so much momentum on top.
He is. He really is farming so much. Darkseid's getting some good CS, though. Sometimes you could get denied a lot.
Oh, he's going to surge. Telekinesis grab. FY is not in range.
Like,
he's still short of buying boots, so he needs that.
June is doing fine. He's level 4. Almost
Ice, 5. That fissure, it doesn't block. There's a small gap there, and the Light Strike Array also misses.
Yep, pulling the creeps still here.
He's just looking to leech the experience. That's the beautiful thing. SP's going to charge in front of Roshan. They're running in towards the mid, so they're after Rabbit. Now, Rabbit saw this, because as the Observer was still back on the river. And Fenrir actually gives up on the charge, while Ice, the fissure, the stun.